All right, welcome to the channel. I want to thank you guys for tuning in on today. I pray that you're having a wonderful day. All right, so this discussion is going to be it's directed to people who, first of all, love the truth. All right, if you don't love the truth, you don't want to listen to this, okay? And in particular, I am speaking to those who first of all, know that they are the children of Israel. Speaking of those who are more popularly known as African Americans, Caribbean, those scattered to the four corners of the earth, as the scripture tells us, and those who remained on the African continent. Now, those on the African continent, everyone on the African continent is not an Israelite, all right? But there is a remnant that remains on the continent and who pretty much remains true to their tribe. All right. And so tribalism does have its benefits, especially for those who are the children of Israel. It makes it easier for us to identify those who are our people. All right. Although we fellowship with, we get along with, we live among those from other nations, everyone on the continent is not the same. All right. What we call tribes are actually nations, and then even among the nations there are tribes and clans. Okay, so Israel, as the scripture shows us, is one nation, but it has 12 tribes. Okay, and two or three, let's say two and some of a third tribe, was scattered to the four parts of the earth. That's Judah, Benjamin, and some of Levi. Okay, Levi is known, or the Levites are known as the priestly tribe, but also there were some among Judah as well. Okay, now today I'm talking about particularly about the impact that those of us who are Israelites, the impact that inter-ethnic, inter-nation, inter-tribal marriages are having, the impact that this is having on those who are of the seed of Israel. Okay, and the spiritual impact and how this is invoking, all right, invoking or restoring a curse that came about from committing the act of mixing seed with other nations, even those who look like us. Okay, now on a trip back to America, I noticed something that was quite disturbing. I noticed that most of the commercials, when I did have a chance to watch television, many of the commercials promoted black women with white men. Okay, before it used to be black men with white women, and it still is. But they have just gone into overdrive with promoting white men with black women. Not white men with Asian women, not white men with Latino women, not white men with white women. They have gone overboard and into overdrive promoting white men with black women. Now, the reason behind that, there are several, okay? But we're not going to talk about that, the physiological reasons. I don't think so in this year. I'm just flowing. But I do want to talk about the spiritual implications that mixing the nations and the tribes, not only with non-black melanated people or white non-black people, but also with black people. And for those of us who are returning to the continent, why it is very important for us to learn our tribes, pray to know the tribes, so that you yourselves can do your best. All right, do your best to, if you decide to marry someone on the continent and not those who are among those who are scattered to the four corners of the earth, that you will make sure that you're not offending as well. Okay, and when I say offending, I mean breaking covenant, because Israel is sworn in covenant to only marry Israel. So let's get into this. We're going to go into the scripture, Deuteronomy chapter 7. I'm going to start there. This is when they are coming out of Egypt, and this is what the scripture says in Deuteronomy chapter 7. Okay, it says, when the Jehovah, or I'll say Lord to make it easier for some people. When I say God, I may say Elohim, where it says God. So if you hear me saying something that's not written, you'll know why I'm doing this. Okay. So, when the Yahuwah thy Elohim shall bring thee into the land whither thou goest to possess it, and have cast out many nations before thee, the Hittites, the Girgashites, the Amorites, the Canaanites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites, and seven nations greater and mightier than thou. And when the Jehovah, or Yahuwah, thy Elohim shall deliver them before you, thou shalt smite them and utterly destroy them. Thou shalt make no covenant with them, nor show mercy unto them, neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Thy daughter thou shalt not give unto his son, nor his daughter shalt thou take unto thy son, for they will turn away thy son from following me, that they may serve other gods. So will the anger of the Yahuwah be kindled against you, and destroy you suddenly. But thus shall you deal with them. You shall destroy their altars, and break down the images, and cut down their groves, and burn the graven images with fire. For thou art an holy people unto the Yahuwah thy Elohim. The Jehovah, or Yahuwah thy Elohim, have chosen you to be a special people unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth. I did not write that. This is the writing of the Most High. Once again, this is not for everyone. If you want to listen, you can listen. I'm not going to argue whether the scripture is true or not. You don't have to believe it. I am speaking to the remnant. I'm speaking not just to the Israelites, but to the remnant, all right, among his people. And to remind us that we are in covenant and we are in oath. And I'm going to show you where they took an oath and covenant perpetually that they would not marry those of other nations. So when they were coming out of Egypt, all right, out of slavery, out of bondage, they entered into this commandment of the Most High that says that they should not take their daughters and give them to the nations, the other nations, the seven nations that were in the land that he was taking them to, and that they should not take their sons and give them to those people as well. Neither should you take the sons and daughters of those nations. Okay, so that's Deuteronomy. That's one example, but I'm going to show you here. Let me go to the book of Ezra. Okay, and we're going to start here. Ezra is coming out of exile in Ezra chapter 8. He's coming out of exile or captivity with the children of Israel. They're coming out of Babylon, right? And so he starts getting things in order, all right? And here's just a summary of some of the things that they were doing and getting into order. But in Ezra chapter 9, it tells us, now when these things were done, the princes came to me saying, the people of Israel and the priests and the Levites have not separated themselves from the people of the lands, doing according to the abominations, even of the Canaanites, the Hittites, the Perizzites, the Jebusites, the Ammonites, the Moabites, the Egyptians, right? The Egyptians and the Amorites, for they have taken of their daughters for themselves and for their sons, so that the holy seed have mingled themselves with the people of those lands. Yea, the hand of the princes and the rulers have been chief in this trespass, meaning those who know better, those who are responsible for teaching, they are the main ones doing it. All right. And when I heard this thing, this is Ezra, I rent my garment, meaning he tore his clothes and my mantle and his coat, and plucked off the hair of my head and of my beard, and sat down astonished. Now here's Ezra. He's pulling out his own beard. You know how hard that is to do. That's very hard to do. All right. Pulled out his own hair from his head, tore his clothes and his coat, and just sat on the ground astonished, shocked. All right. At what? That the children of Israel were marrying and giving in marriage and having children with the people of the surrounding nations. All right. Then were assembled unto me every one that trembled at the words of Elohim of Israel, because of the transgressions of those that had been carried away, and I sat astonished until the evening sacrifice. So those who feared the Lord was like, yeah, Ezra, this is going on. This stuff is going on. This is happening. These are those who are not participating in it. They came in support of Ezra, right? And they were shocked. All right. He was shocked to hear and to know how the chief priests and the men were carried away in this abomination, in this act. All right. And it goes on, it says, and at evening I arose from my heaviness, and having rent my garment and my mantle, I fell upon my knees and spread out my hands unto the Jehovah our Elohim, and said, O Elohim, I am ashamed, and I blush to lift up my face to thee, my God, for our iniquities are increased over our head, and our trespass is grown up unto the heavens. Since the days of our fathers have we been in great trespasses unto this day, and for our iniquities have we and our kings, our priests, been delivered into the hand of the kings of the lands, to the sword, to captivity, to the spoil, to the confusion of face, as it is this day. And now for a little space grace has been showed from the Yahuwah our Elohim, to leave us a remnant to escape, and to give us a nail in his holy place, that our Elohim may lighten our eyes and give us a little reviving in our bondage. For we were bondmen, yet our Elohim have not forsaken us in our bondage, but have extended mercy unto us in the sight of the kings of Persia, to give us a reviving, to set up the house of our Elohim, and to repair the desolations thereof, and to give us a wall in Judah and Jerusalem. All right. And he goes on and he's talking to the Lord. But he says, and now our Elohim, what shall we say after this? For we have forsaken thy commandments. Forsaken the commandments. And what is the commandments? That they should not marry the foreign nations and not have children with them. So I'm going to skip down to verse 14. Should we again break thy commandments and join in affinity with the people of these abominations? Wouldst not thou be angry with us until thou hast consumed us, so that there should not be a remnant, be no remnant, nor escape, Elohim of Israel? Thou art righteous, for we remain, yet escape, as it is this day. Behold, we are before thee in our trespasses, for we cannot stand before thee because of this. All right, so I'm going to kind of skip through this because of time, but this is Ezra crying out to Elohim, like, what do we do from here? And he gets an instruction for him and for the children of Israel. And it says, after he prayed in Ezra chapter 10, now when Ezra had prayed, and when he had confessed, weeping and casting himself down before the house of Elohim, there assembled unto him out of Israel a very great congregation of men and women and children, for the people wept sore. And Shechaniah, the son of Jehiel, one of the sons of Elam, answered and said unto Ezra, we have trespassed against our Elohim, and have taken strange wives. Now the word strange here means foreign, alien, non-Israelite, be it black or white. That's why if you're coming to the continent, you need to know the history of the people. All right. You need to really do research. And I want to tell you, there is an agenda to confuse us. The movie, The Warrior King, was intended to confuse us and to turn us against people who are truly descendants of Israel. Okay, there are some tribes that are clearly descendants of Israel. That's why those of us who are coming from America and other places who are non-French speakers need to go to some of the French-speaking countries, because you're going to find out when you do research on those countries that there are a lot of Israelites in those countries. There are a lot of Israelites in Ghana. All right, but particularly in the Volta region. There are also Israelites who are not in the Volta region of, I would say, two other tribes, but I'm going to hold back the two other tribes that I'm going to say. All right. I'll just say they start with G. All right. Now that may strongly be have strong evidence that they are Israelites. Okay. All right. And various clans of Israelites. And then there are some who have escaped from the central region, whose name does not start with G, who moved to Aniho. All right. In Togo, fleeing captivity and war as well, but then they ended up being shipped out anyway. All right, so expand beyond the English speaking nations. You're going to find that there are Israelites, particularly in the areas that was known as the slave coast. Okay, so marry who you will. I'm just reading the script. but I'm reading to those who fear the Lord. I'm reading to the remnant. All right. I'm sending the message. There is a problem going on even in the U.S. where many of our men, I believe, are perishing because of this offense. All right. Let me continue on because we'll have just a few more minutes before this ends. All right. And then Ezra rose up before the house of Elohim and went into the chamber of Johanan, the son of Elishab. Let me go back and make sure we're reading the covenant. And Shechaniah, the son of Jehiel, one of the sons of Elam, answered and said unto Ezra, we have trespassed against our Elohim, and have taken foreign wives of the people of the land. Yet now there is hope in Israel concerning this thing. Now therefore let us make a covenant with our Elohim. Let us make a covenant with our God to put away all wives and such as are born of them. Did you hear that? They made a covenant. The children of Israel came under covenant with God, with Yahuwah, with Jehovah, whatever you want to call him. All right. The great I am that I am. They entered into covenant to put away the strange wives and the children born of them. I ain't telling anybody to send their children away. That is a hard thing. Okay. You search the Most High for yourself. Okay. You seek him, but I'm just reading the word. Okay. And if you are one who, this is trying to prevent people from entering to things that are hard and hard to get out of. And as men, I can tell you that there is a problem with young men, especially when they go off to college, when they go off into the military. These white women, they are different than black women in a sense, young women. They are not afraid to approach black men. All right. Most black young ladies, if they like a guy, they're not going to approach him. Okay. The other nations are not like that. Okay, but I don't encourage our women to be too forward and to be too, fast and flirtatious and, just promiscuous. I'm not promoting that. And by nature, most of the time, we are not that way. There is a generation that's doing something else these days, but it's not the entire generation. Okay, not even the majority of them. But I do have to say that there is a different nature when it comes to those women. They have no apprehensions about approaching our men. And so a lot of the Israelite men get involved with them because the woman has initiated the relationship. But he, as a man and as particularly a son of Israel, should know what is right according to the Most High. All right, so it says here, let us put away all the wives and such as born of them according to the counsel of my Lord, and those that tremble at the commandment of our Elohim, and let it be done according to the Torah. Let it be done according to the Torah. All right. Okay. Arise, for this matter belongeth unto thee. We also will be with thee, and be of good courage and do it. All right. They are encouraging Ezra. Be of good courage and do this. Let's do it according to the law. And then arose Ezra and made the chief priests and the Levites and all Israel to swear that they should do according to the word and they swear. And they swear. They entered into a covenant for them and for their children. And this is a perpetual covenant that they would not take any woman from any foreign nation and marry them. Okay. And this applies to the daughters. They would not give their daughters to those who are not of the seed of Israel. So I encourage those of us who are in the U.S. or abroad, wherever you are in the earth, to make sure that you're searching things out and you're not marrying another nation just because they are black. Now, if you want to do whatever you want to do, go ahead and do whatever you want to do. All right. You are grown. Okay. As they say, but grownness does not do away with the covenant. All right. So I'm going to show you something also, and I have to rush. I hate the fact that I have to rush. All right. But you know what? I'll probably get to this another day to show you where one who disregarded the commandment, one who disregarded the covenant, caused a plague in Israel, a plague that killed 24,000 in one day. 24,000 Israelites died in one day because of this sin of intermarriage and the sins that come along with it, like paganism and idolatry and all the other things that come along with it. This sin caused 24,000 Israelites to die in one day. If I don't get to it, hey, read it for yourself. You can get to the book of Nehemiah. You can go to the book of Numbers and go back into Ezra and just cross-reference so many others. Okay. But listen, this is a covenant, and I think that many of our people are being impacted by breaking this covenant. So it's up to us. I put it out there. I pray that it's been a blessing to you. I pray that it's provided insight. Yah bless each and every one of you. Shalom.